Good morning, everybody. My name is Deanna Howard.
Hi, Deanna.
And today will mark my 1 week of moving in my apartment from DC General. I am honored, and it's a pleasure of mine to introduce Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It is wonderful to see you all here on Kennedy Street in the great Ward 4. I am so happy to be joined by the Ward 4 Councilmember Brandon Todd. Give Brandon a big round of applause. As well as the at-large Councilmember Robert White. Give Robert White a big round of applause. Members of the Ward 4 advisory team who advised us how we could get this project started, led by Lisa Colbert, Commissioner Lisa Colbert. Give Lisa a round of applause. And we are just so happy. Lisa, of course, was joined by Brenda Donnell, who is our CFSA director and co-chair of the Ward 4 advisory team. So it's a rainy day, but a joyful one, isn't it? I think that these are tears of joy falling from the sky. And I know we've shed a lot of tears getting to this moment. And we're just very happy to say that this is the start of something special. You know that I promised with all of you to make sure we had a real commitment in this city to make homelessness non-recurring, rare, and brief in the nation's capital. And you've heard me say many times that in a city as prosperous as ours, we can end homelessness in Washington, D.C. And that is our commitment. Now, no one said it would be easy. And it certainly hasn't been easy, but we have learned a lot about how to work together. We have learned about the generosity of our communities. We have learned that when we have a shared challenge, that it takes a shared commitment and resolve across all 8 wards of the District of Columbia to address those challenges. When I was sworn in as mayor, you may remember that I asserted that we have to fight homelessness head on and judge ourselves by how we treat those most in need. We committed to make homelessness then, as we do today, rare, brief, and non-recurring. We promised to do the hard work, make the tough decisions, and dedicate the necessary funding. I want to acknowledge all the members of my team who have worked so diligently to get this done. The meetings that we had every single week in my office to get prepared for our DC General closing plan, and the meetings that I had with folks who don't work on homelessness every day, but who work on making sure that our city lives up to the best of our values and our promises and our commitments. So let me start by acknowledging our team that fights homelessness every day. Christy Greenwald, who is the Interagency Council on Homelessness's director. Give Christy a big round of applause. Her team has been working on our plan and transforming our system. I also want to thank our Department of Human Services director, who just wakes up every day trying to make life better for families in the District of Columbia. Laura Zeilinger, give Laura a big round of applause. And all of our community members who have been there at short-term family housing meetings across the city, who I see some here from the WIN community, from other faith communities, who have been such a critical part of the work that we're doing. Let me just give you a few details of what we've been able to achieve in 2.5 short years. Because of our investments in affordable housing, homeless prevention services, job training resources, counseling support, we have seen a 10.5% reduction in homelessness in the District of Columbia over last year. Let me repeat, homelessness is down in the District of Columbia. And over the last 2 years, we have seen a 30% reduction in homelessness among D.C. veterans. Homelessness is down 30% among our veterans. So we know that the reforms that we are creating are taking root, and the investments we're making are spurring lasting change. And today we're taking another bold step to ending homelessness in our city and closing DC General. We all, when I went around the city just a few years ago talking about our vision for how to make the city better and make the city better for everyone, there was a recurring theme that our city should not be proud of the conditions at DC General, or in fact that we had made an old hospital a place for families to live. We were all resolved that a little girl named Alicia Rudd should be doing the things that little girls do, and that we can do that in our city with political will and with the resolve to get things done. And we're going to start right here in Ward 4. I have to say that we have received incredible support from our neighbors, and that we are committed to ensuring that this project is an asset to the community. I'm going to ask Brenda to come up and tell us about the project.
Great. Thank you, Mayor, so much, and for your leadership and support. I'm really proud to continue as the co-chair of the advisory team, engaging the neighbors to make sure that this project works. The building will include 45 units, family units. These are for families, right? 27 bathrooms, on-site laundry facilities, an exterior basketball court, which we may be standing in, Mayor, a playground, and a courtyard. This project is helping us secure our spot as the sustainability capital of the world. Its green roof and high-efficiency windows and plumbing fixtures are a welcome addition. In the coming weeks, under the mayor's leadership, work will also begin on projects in Wards 7 and 8, followed by new buildings in Wards 3, 5, and 6, commencing in the months to come. Families experiencing a housing crisis should be provided with clean, safe, dignified places to get back on their feet. While we know we are moving in the right direction, there are too many residents who are suffering. But we have the tools to end homelessness in the District of Columbia once and for all. It's a problem we know how to solve. So we're going to stay the course and put our DC values into action. Let's keep working together to ensure every resident has both a home and an equal shot at success. Thank you. Thank you.
So we have had no greater partners than in Ward 4. I think that every commissioner and neighbor will be able to discuss this building and where we've been with this building. And I should add, I noted that this has been a team project. It crosses all of our agencies, have been working in tandem together. And we have a construction arm in DC government led by the Department of General Services. And so I want to thank our Department of General Services. Remember those weekly meetings I would tell you about? They were at the table in a full team. Greer and Jonathan and Jeff, I see, who are here, and many members of the DGS team. So we're very grateful for that. So I want to now welcome Councilmember Brandon Todd, who has been so focused on Kennedy Street and so focused on making life better for families. And he hasn't hesitated when he could have, when it could have been really difficult. At a time where he was working on another project, getting reelected, he stood firm for families and for doing the right thing, for not voting to delay or not doing the easy thing, but exercising real leadership for people who really need it the most. Brandon Todd.
Well, good morning, everyone. This really is a great and rainy day in Ward 4, but I think we all owe a debt of gratitude to our mayor, who decided very early on that she was going to tackle the task of ending homelessness in the District of Columbia, closing DC General, and making sure that people in our city, when they are at the most critical and vulnerable points in their life, could live with dignity in communities with people. So thank you, Mayor Muriel Bowser. Let's give the mayor and her entire team a huge round of applause, because we know that it's not been an easy task. And we're just delighted that here in Ward 4, we get to lead and kick it off for the entire city of Washington, D.C. As the mayor did, I want to thank the Ward 4 advisory team members led by Commissioner Colbert, Commissioner Renee Bowser, Mary Ann Stinson, Ronald Austin, David DeZinio, Danielle Parsons-Smith, Lois Cooper, Tiffany Nicole Johnson, Timmy Bennett on my staff, Dr. Bill Hassan, Schroeder Shribling, Wanda Sherrod, Jenna Savesco, Brenda Donnell, and Commissioner Natalie Snyder. I will tell you that this has truly been a community-led process. And I want to share a little bit of history that I learned this morning. In the audience, we have Dr. Betty Cato, whose doctor's office used to reside in this building. And she shared with me this morning that she and a group of doctors built this facility, as well as the residential facility next door in 1970. So thank you, Dr. Cato Strudwick, for your leadership and sharing that history. But it really is an honor to be here today. This is especially exciting for this award to be the first in the city to reach this critical milestone in the effort to close DC General and replace it with safe, clean, and dignified short-term family housing in each ward. At every step of the process, the local advisory neighborhood commissioner, ANC 4D, was at the table, and we had civic associations and community organizations to serve as an integral part of the process, neighbors working hand in hand with our government at every step of the way to make sure this truly reflects what we want it to. It's important that this $12.3 million investment is just a part of a robust series of investments that our government is making in Kennedy Street. Currently, you see the $10 million streetscape improvement program investment that we're making on Kennedy Street. That deserves a round of applause. The fiscal year 2018 budget includes funding for a Kennedy Street Main Street, which will help to spur business development along this burgeoning corridor. The creation of the Kennedy Street Economic Development and Small Business Revitalization Advisory Committee, which will kick off this summer. A number of Great Streets grants have been invested in Kennedy Street. So this is just a series of investments that we're making on Kennedy Street to make sure that it can continue to grow, but that the families that will come to this facility will have every resource that our government can absolutely provide. So congratulations, Mayor Bowser. I know we have a lot of work to do, and I can't wait to come and cut the ribbon. Congratulations, everybody.
I like that progress on Kennedy Street. That sounds like progress, council members, so keep up the good work. And let me now invite a woman who we recruited to work in our administration because of her national expertise in fighting homelessness. And that was one of the best decisions that I could have made in hiring Laura Zeilinger. Laura Zeilinger.
Well, not the rain or anything else could make this any less one of the most exceptional days for me in my career. I have never been more proud to be a public servant and to be a public servant in the District of Columbia. The path that we're on and the milestone that we're acknowledging today is a clear demonstration of the commitment of this community across political agendas, across a lot of things, in order to do what is right by people who experience homelessness and sometimes need a hand up to get themselves back on their feet, to give their children an opportunity to fulfill their potential, and to be able to access the prosperity that is so great in the community that we're lucky to call home. The work that we do it together. We have people here around us in the pouring rain who are providers of homeless services, who are advocates, who are students, witnessing what it means to build a building like this and commit to a community and learn from the development and growth that we're doing. We have a lot of government partners, private partners, members of the community. I want to acknowledge the team at the Department of Human Services and the tremendous partnership with the Department of General Services. In these various weekly meetings that you've been hearing about as we've been trying to move this agenda forward, one of the really important conversations and one that happens in between those meetings is how do we make sure that we're not just building buildings to replace shelter beds, but we are creating an aesthetic that reflects how we deliver quality services and reflects the care and the value that we place on our residents and our children and sets up an environment from which they can thrive. Our partners at DGS have been exceptional in working with us on that. The work we're doing to close DC General is not by itself what is ending homelessness in the District of Columbia. Under the leadership of Christy Greenwald at the ICH, we have a clear plan, and we are executing on that plan. We're providing access to shelter to people at the time that they need it, with the supports they need to exit quickly, and we're preventing homelessness whenever possible. More than 3,000 families have not even had to enter DC General or a shelter because they got the help they needed to not experience homelessness. And because of that work and because of the investments and the solutions to homelessness, family homelessness is down 22% over last year. And the way that we see these reforms through is exactly the work that we're doing now, by also fixing what happens when people do need a shelter stay so that they have the supports that they need at the right time in the right environment. Here in Ward 4 and in communities in every ward of the city, we are working together to get this done. So I would just want to thank and acknowledge all of the people who have been a part of that, and especially the leadership of our mayor, who took on what is not an easy task, what many other people would never have been brave enough to do, and come into communities throughout the city and say, we're going to take care of our families, we're going to do right by them, it's going to be part of the community, and it's going to be here, and we're going to be good neighbors while we do it. So I just want to appreciate the approach to that.
Thank you. Congratulations. And let us hear from our Chief of DC Construction, Director Gillis from DGS.
Thank you. I like that. Good morning, everyone. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here with you, Mayor Bowser, on this wonderful event, as well as my fellow directors, Director Zollinger, Director Greenwald, Director Donald, and Director Donaldson, who is also joining us, Deputy Mayor Chung, a pleasure to have you with us, and again, Councilmember Todd and Councilmember White. Thank you for this honor to be here as the district's chief construction arm. You know, for the Department of General Services, building this project, it's the nuts and bolts of what we really do. And so along with Mayor Bowser, we're committed to elevating the quality of life for all of our district residents, and we stand firm with the entire district team to end homelessness. We appreciate the work that you all have done, the advisory teams, the ANCs, the community support and engagement on the project here in Ward 4, and really all the projects that we will be doing across the city. And as Councilmember Todd stated earlier, this facility here has a historical significance. It was the place that African American doctors could come when they could not go anywhere else in the city. It's historical significance for this community, and we're proud to be with the entire district team to renew that historical significance for everyone. So over the next 14 months, you will see DGS begin to convert this building into a state-of-the-art facility, a LEED Gold certified building.
All right.
Yes. You will see a multi-story addition to this building, and you will see aesthetically pleasing features that are appropriate for 45 residential family units. The buildings designed for this particular site is a model that we're going to use across the city for the other short-term family housing sites. As usual with our projects, we're engaging our local certified business enterprise contractors for this project, as well as district residents. And we are including our children. Students from the Truesdale Educational Campus, some of whom are present today, will work with the DGS staff and our general contractor to learn more about construction and actually work with us as we progress through this construction project. And last but not least, I too need to thank my DGS team, a team who actually started this project long before I came on board at DGS, who stand firm and committed to working with Mayor Bowser, Department of Human Services, and everyone here to end homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. And now I would like to invite our community commissioner, Lisa Colbert, who participated as a co-chair of an advisory team. We have advisory teams associated with each of our short-term housing facilities across the city who have worked with DGS and Human Services on the building plans and also how the building will operate in the community once it is complete. So I would like to invite Commissioner Lisa Colbert from ANC 4D.
Good morning, Mayor Bowser, Councilmember Brandon Todd, Councilmember Robert White, district officials. Welcome to Petworth. And I'd also like to acknowledge my constituents. Truesdale, are you here?
Yeah.
Truesdale and other residents of Ward 4 to the brand new home of the short-term housing family project to be built in Petworth. Today we celebrate the home of the short-term housing. Today we celebrate the groundbreaking of our short-term family housing facility. This facility offers families an opportunity to live in a safe and stable environment as they seek permanent housing solutions. We are so thankful to so many of you who have been with us every step of the way so that this day would finally come. Again, my name is Lisa Colbert. I am the co-chair of a Ward 4 Short-Term Housing Advisory Team and chair of the ANC Advisory Commission of 4D in Petworth. Today marks the culmination of an idea that our Mayor Bowser began over 2 years ago, an idea about a new and novel program for the need to end homelessness, for the creation of a facility in Petworth that would serve as a catalyst for serving displaced families, single parents, and veterans. The timing for such a facility is here now. Ward 4 is to be commended to accept this short-term housing facility. Petworth strives to be an inclusive community and strive to provide better living environment for all of its citizens. We and the families of Petworth look forward to this opportunity in the fulfillment of one of Mayor Bowser's campaign pledges in affordable and safe housing for DC residents. On behalf of the Advisory Neighborhood Commission, we would like to thank each of you for taking time to come out of your busy schedules today to join us to the dedication of this transitional housing facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Okay, may I invite all of our platform guests and maybe our Truesdale students. We're going to do what is called a ceremonial groundbreaking, young people, so some sand. But no less important, and then we will return to the podium for questions. 1, 2, 3. DCW. All right, I'll take some on-topic questions, and then we'll have a few seconds for off-topic.
Mayor?
Yes.
You can't see us way back here. This is the first groundbreaking. Your whole plan is to close DC General by next year. Is that correct? By the end of next year, or what? 2018 what? Spring, summer, fall?
Well, as you know, we have a plan for 6 replacement facilities. We are able to start 3 of those facilities right now. We're very proud of the fact that all 6 have gone through the BZA process and been approved, and we will start on the final 3 projects that were approved by the council just as soon as we go through the procurement processes. So we're getting those. We expect the final 3 to deliver in 2019.
So your initial plan was 2018, but you had to go through the bureaucracy just like everybody else. So,
well, our plan would have had 6 facilities start today, and then we would be on track to deliver them about the same time. The second half of the facilities will be delivered in 2019.
Lock the doors at DC General in 2019.
We'll lock it just as soon as possible. More than lock it, we're going to tear it down. Yes, Martin.
So are you going to, when this opens up in 14 months, are you going to move people in right away out of DC General, or are you going to wait until all the sites are online and then move everybody out kind of in one go?
We're going to use the facility just as soon as it's ready.
And kind of a follow-up for this could be for you or for the director.
Sure.
You also, the director rolled out a plan a couple weeks ago to address the folks that are not in DC General but in the motels, and you guys are looking for buildings for landlords that essentially lease out buildings for them. Kind of where are you guys in that? Are you getting responses from landlords that want to essentially offer up buildings that you could use for people?
Sure. So we are seeking, and to everybody listening who's in the housing providing community, we're seeking 150 units. And we have a RFP, a request for proposals, out on the street. And we want to make sure that housing providers, small landlords know that the District of Columbia is willing to work with them. We have great families who are looking for safe and affordable housing, and we're calling all landlords to participate.
Yes. You seemed to get choked up when you were talking about Militia Run. Is that because of your sense that the city failed her?
My sense is that in a city, especially as well situated as ours, we have to do better by children and families, especially when it comes to emergency housing. I'm not sure how many people have had the opportunity to go to DC General, and it has helped us keep families in shelter. But it certainly was never meant for children to live there. And we have to double down on all of our efforts to keep any child from falling through the cracks. Any child. One child is too many to fall through the cracks. And so we know that by building safe and humane shelter, no more than 50 families, they will have the services that they need. They will be located near public transportation and schools and parks. And we know when families have the opportunity to get settled, for just to catch their breath in some cases from situations that may have been bad, then the services that we can help them provide allows them to get on their way. Many of the families at DC General are young women with small children, and they respond very well to job training services and the types of services that Laura talked about that will help a family get situated in an emergency situation and then be on their way to safe and affordable permanent housing. Yes, Dr. Cato.
Is there any plan to revive the old plan for immediate general? There was a plan, the land was available, the money was available, it was not, would not be built by the citizens. But the plan was defeated by the administration at that time. There is still no hospital facilities in that area.
Right. So the question was, is there a plan to rebuild DC General, the hospital, I think is what you're referring to. And certainly we're focused on improving health care outcomes for people on the total east side of our city can be argued is underserved by hospital facilities, by doctors' networks, by specialists. And in a city where 99% of the people are insured, we know that people shouldn't have to travel, where DC General was at that time Ward 6 and eastward. All are kind of moving to the west for all of those services. So Dr. Cato, our focus is on how we transform all access to healthcare facilities, doctors, inpatient and outpatient services, and access to specialists. The city, of course, has been very supportive of the United Medical Center. And while not the model of DC General, it has a lot of public support. And so we're also focused on how we're going to transform the United Medical Center so that it is sustainable for years and years to come. Yes, ma'am.
I think that the children and grandchildren of the people that built this building.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that your advocacy for the homeless will be approached.
Well, thank you.
I think they will be very happy with this because there are not many of the original buildings still alive.
Well, good.
The children are very much involved in this.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cato. And for those who don't know Dr. Cato, she can't go anywhere in Ward 4 without meeting a person who she took care of as a pediatrician. And so that's a wonderful legacy in addition to this great building. Okay, Tom? Yes.
Kennedy Street, the merchants, the people who live around here, they are looking forward to great changes on Kennedy Street. The only concern I've heard about this building is that people will be welcome, but they were worried that the city will follow through on the management of this building, from its cleanliness to its accessibility to public safety. Are you telling the folks here that this building will be treated with respect that the people deserve?
Yes, and more than that, Tom, what I would tell those people is this building has been in a state of disrepair for almost 10 years. It's been a source of blight, nuisance. It has attracted graffiti. It has attracted other problems. And this investment is going to be a significant transformation for this corner. Now, I'm going to turn to Laura to also talk about some of the work that the advisory teams have done in discussing how this short-term family housing facility will be operated, also the rest. And I'm happy to say, I think next week we're going to be in Ward 7 doing a community walk near our new facility there, and also in Ward 8.
Thank you, Mayor. So in every community, we've convened an advisory team where we co-chair with a senior administration official and an ANC commissioner to address the specific concerns and needs related to both the operation of the program, but also what happens during construction, maintenance, and we're forming good neighbor agreements that will govern how we operate going forward as we open our doors so that both families can feel safe and welcomed in the community and community members understand expectations around various things that they're concerned about. Those are things that DHS and as we work with contract providers to deliver quality services and supports in the management of the programs that we can incorporate through our contracts and will allow us to work really in partnership and with clear expectations with neighborhoods. So we've got a clear process around that. We're working very much in collaboration, and that's something we started even at the design phase of the program. So there's been a lot of thought in how we work together in neighborhoods, and we're and as part of those teams, we have schools, we have our faith partners, we have our ANC commissioners, we have PTAs, we have immediate neighbors, we have business organizations, so council members and their staff, very inclusive group to make sure that we're able to do that in the way that's intended.
Thank you. Let me just add another benefit of having smaller facilities throughout the city. Our family shelter at DC General currently, there's really been only one provider who's had the capacity to work with such a large number of families. Now, when we have smaller facilities, we're going to be seeking partners who, may not have been able to, compete for the work at DC General, but they will attract many more people and good ideas and fresh ideas around serving our families because we have a smaller population across the city to work with. So that's a benefit that's not that obvious when we're at a groundbreaking, but will be very beneficial for our families. Yes, sir, you're going to have the last question.
Thank you. Save the best for last.
Okay.
First of all, I don't want to rain on your parade proverbial. But let me just say, first of all, I want to commend all of you all for what you're doing. I'm a 40-year resident in D.C., but I do have a concern. We all understand this is short-term, and I get that.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here in terms of long-term? Can you kind of help us to see where you see this transition period? What is that transition?
Well, thank you for that. That's
3 years, please.
That's a great question. And you heard Laura allude to it, and I'm going to invite Christy to come up and talk about how we're transforming our entire system. What we know is that the way that we were doing homeless services was just having people use the homeless service system as a queue to get to affordable housing. So what that meant for families who were experiencing emergencies, that there may be no room, or their services would take too long, or they weren't getting the type of quality services that they needed. So we are doing the hard work and making the consistent funding commitments to transform that system. So it's for emergencies. Now, part of that is making sure that there's affordable housing at the end. That's why we have doubled the efforts. When I became mayor, we were spending about $50 million in our Housing Production Trust Fund. We doubled that to $100 million, and we've been able to maintain that commitment for each of the three budgets that I've submitted to the council. So that means now we have 5,000 units in our pipeline, and we've got more money out the door getting there. So that's what we mean when we say that. As I mentioned, most of the families who are at DC General, what they need is some stability, and they need to help in getting to work. And we are going to use the time that they're with us to get them into sustaining jobs for themselves and their families. Okay. And Laura, Christy, did you want to add on that?
Sure. I would just add that, so the Homeward DC strategy really lays out 40 different objectives across 40 different strategies across 5 different objectives. It's not just about replacing our short-term family housing facilities. So as you heard during the opening remarks, our intention is on preventing homelessness whenever we can. And as the director said, we've implemented very effective prevention programming. But this is a mayor, and our city council has supported us with investing in those permanent housing solutions. None of us, if we came upon hard times, could find housing tonight. If we had nowhere safe to be tonight, if we didn't have a support network, it takes time to find that next housing unit and to get through the paperwork and to move your belongings. So we need a safe place for people to be tonight, but we immediately begin working with those individuals and families on their next step. And we know there's no one-size-fits-all solution, so we have a variety of different tools in our toolbox, different types of housing programs, some shorter-term subsidy and service programs, and some longer-term or permanent for our most vulnerable individuals and families. But that is what the Homeward DC strategy is really about. It's transforming our system so that we're not just reliant on shelter as the strategy. It's really making sure we have a safe place for people to go, but then getting them back in their own housing and stabilized in that housing as quickly as possible.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.